All right. Welcome to Friday Thoughts. This is funny doing this in the garage because you get the dogs, you get the goats, you get the bird, the baby bird nest that's up in the top of the garage, the pigs, whatever. We're going to run with it, okay? We're running with it because we just need to stay consistent and do these things. So this is kind of like a self-control thought. If you think about like momentum, we all crave it. We all need it. It can make all the difference in the world. You see a sports team like start to rally and gain momentum, and all of a sudden it looks like a brand new team out on the field. But so often we think we need to find it, right? We need to like source it out, like to really rally and get us going. It's like, man, I'm not that motivated, blah, blah, blah. It's not always there. And we get down on ourselves when we can't find it or when it's not available to us, right? But the good news is we control it. Like, you control your momentum. You build it. You're in 100% control of it. But it requires discipline, and it requires us to be focused and intentional with every decision that we make, whether it's big or small. Now, my example is like Babs is on day 75 of the 75 Hard program today, right? So it's not a diet, it's not this fitness fad. It's a mental strength thing, right? This is her second time through. And I see a completely different person from the first time she went through this. And it all comes down to discipline. It's so easy to give in. It's so easy to get in. You get invited to that party and you give in. Just one more drink. Just one more bite. It all comes down to those little choices that we make. And are we disciplined enough to say no? Like to move forward and just stay focused on what we're trying to do. We're in absolute control of that. But it comes down to that choice. Some people need music to get motivated to work out. Some people need to read an inspirational quote to get their day going and get off to work. Some people are going to blame their circumstances. Some people are going to blame their past. But why? It doesn't do any good to point the finger or to come up with some other reasoning why, because we're in full control. No matter what anyone says, you're in full control. Right? The saying goes like the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is to plant it today. Right? So you're 100% behind the wheel right now. But we got to remember that it's the little steps. It's not the leaps. So like when you're climbing a ladder, your rungs are close, right? They're 12 inches apart. If those rungs were 20 inches or 24 inches, can you imagine that? It's a lot harder to climb the ladder, right? And it's going to take a lot longer. There's a reason they're small. And that's why we got to take the smaller steps. But so often we look past those small steps and those small decisions, and we only look at the big stuff. Now, I know after I finished my first 75 hard round a couple years back, I realized I was creating limits in my own head. Like I was making things up about myself, things that I told myself others thought about me or were saying about me. Like I was manufacturing scenarios that simply did not exist. And I had to learn how to get out of my own head. It wasn't easy, but little by little, I would prove myself wrong and then make little improvements, little increments, right? And so often our internal voice will dictate our day. Like our actions, it'll create boundaries for ourselves mentally. Like we talk ourselves out of things that we want to do, but we're not going to do them because we're making this up in our head saying, so-and-so is going to say this or do this. But when you learn to silence that voice and you just do the work, the stress goes, the winning comes, and you start to feel pretty damn good. But it all comes back to us, back to ourselves. Like we are in control. So like the guy that cuts you off on the way to work, you're in control of the next move. Ball's in your court, right? Do you get him back? Do you flip him off? Does it get worse? Is there an accident? What happens? Or do you just let it go and you keep driving? Yeah, it makes us mad, right? But do we just brush that off and it's like, hey, I'm focused. I got other stuff to do today. That small step to the left is going to prevent a giant disaster if we leapt to the right that we would regret. but we're in control. We drive off. Not too long after you drove off, you forgot it happened. But if you retaliated, it would have stuck with you the rest of the day. Your day would have been ruined, etc. But by making that small move, that small decision, you just built some momentum just by making that small little choice. And I've had so many instances where that has played out in my favor because I'm a firm believer you're going to get back whatever you put out in this world. Call it whatever you want, but you're going to get it back. Karma, whatever you want to call it. So really, I just wanted to hop on. It's a quick Friday thought. That was my thoughts on self-control because it's kind of been on my mind lately with Babs wrapping up 75 hard. I've seen so much growth in the past year from her, and it excites me because I know it spills over to others. So I'm excited to see where it takes her career, her relationships, her goals, but I know it's going to help improve others along the way. So she sets a fantastic example for others, and I know there's many, many others that have followed along and started because they were inspired by her or inspired by myself doing it. I went through the whole Live Hard program, or I should say I'm in the middle of the Live Hard program, which is just more steps beyond just regular 75 hard. And I'm glad I did it. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doing it again next year. It's good. We all need it, but it all comes back to the discipline. Comes back to the discipline to make those small choices, those small steps. Because we all too often we look at the big picture. We always look macro. Like everything is macro. We need to get micro, right? Look at the small decisions you're making in your day-to-day. When you get up from work, what you're choosing to eat, what you're choosing to put in your body, how much time you're willing to dedicate to yourself to get better, how much time you're spending on others to get better. It's self-awareness. It's creating actual self-awareness and realizing those little steps we're making. So that is it for Friday Thoughts. I'm excited for Babs, like I said. It's Friday, going into the weekend. She's going to be finished. I know we're going to celebrate. I don't know what she's going to do. French fries, maybe. You got to reward yourself, right? You got to live a little bit with those discipline, with those choices that you make. So I'm excited, but thank you all for being here. That is it. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. Put some thought into those decisions this weekend, okay? Get back to me. Let me know how it went. That's it.